Hi, my name's Rob Scott from UC Today, and in this Smart Comms Summit session, I'm joined by Microsoft, Audio Codes, and OnReach, and we're going to be discussing the future of collaboration. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, Rob.
Hi there.
Hello.
Good to see you all. Thanks for joining me. And just before we get started and delve into this session, because I'm really excited to talk about this one, how about we just do a quick round of introductions? And Remco, would you like to go first?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Rob. So my name is Remco de Kramer. I work for Microsoft, based in the Netherlands, and I'm a product marketing manager for Modern Work Solutions. So about Microsoft, well-known brand. These are interesting times, I think. So many customers were forced to accelerate their digital transformation. But I'm especially looking forward to the next phase because hybrid work poses a whole new set of challenges to make that happen successfully. And the industry which are all in can make that happen. And I'm really very much looking forward to that because meeting with you guys like this is great, but nothing beats actually looking each other in the eyes physically again.
Great. Thanks for joining us, Remco. And Jasper.
Yeah, you can say that again, Remco. I fully concur. My name is Jasper. I work for Audio Codes and I look after the Benelux and Nordics regions at Audio Codes. We are a communications technology, software and services provider globally. And together with my team, we're trying to accelerate usage of unified communications across all platforms. And happy to be here, Rob.
Thanks very much for joining us. And Bertrand.
Yeah, so I'm representing OnReach. OnReach is a European cloud unified communication leader born from the merge of VoiceWorks in Netherlands, Swix in Germany, and Centile in France. We have very strong ambitions, both organically and through acquisitions, to build even a stronger leader in Europe. And I'm personally leading the business unit dealing with service providers, so OnReach for service providers. And I look forward to this session.
A very warm welcome to you all. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so the digital workplace is here to stay. Is hybrid work or work from anywhere or work from home the new normal for organizations? And how are we going to communicate and collaborate in these new environments in 2021? Jasper, would you like to say that one first?
Yeah, that's the most important question at this point. And I think we're seeing, in advance of the market, we're seeing that develop right now. So we were indeed there after COVID and home working exploded. And luckily, we were in a position where many customers, many service providers, large enterprises using our solutions, because they were using our technology, we were able to quickly deploy homework. Contact center agents, information workers, we were able to open up their networks, capacity was there, and they could quickly enable them. What we're in preparation for now is how, in the near future, this is going to end up. And we're already seeing people preparing for a partial return to the office, but in a different way than before. Indeed, a hybrid way of work between office and homework, and a lot of attention for meeting rooms that use the same technology that people are using at home, using video, using voice, and using collaboration. And we're preparing for that right now, together with our service provider partners, end users, and other partners.
Thanks, Jasper. Absolutely. I mean, Bertrand, would you like to give us your perspective on that one?
Yeah, I think 2020 and the beginning of 2021 have been a surprise to everyone. And I think it has really been a fast track, kind of a leapfrog, like maybe 5 years or even more in the digital transformation of the enterprises and businesses, as well in the cloud and cloud UC adoption. And if it was not for COVID, as a vendor and a SaaS player in this domain, I would say we would have dreamt of that for long. So that's a great start. But indeed, I think that enterprises, after an emergency choice in 2020, are rushing to keep the employees engaged and find solution to them. They are now looking for a more mature, maybe, solution for the long term. Taking a bit of more time to look at the efficiencies, not to create silos and so on. So I think that's what we are I would say, observing at our service provider customers, but also at resellers in the channels and at the end users, because the needs are at the end user side. Also, if I may add, we observe much more adoption, and not only in the consumer space, but of I would say, online buying and online experiences in general, which, depending on the companies, not everybody is ready for that in the way you engage with your customers and with your partners, but also how you engage with your employees and teams. So a lot of changes, and these changes are creating both, I would say, disruption, but also opportunities, I would say. So that's a passionating subject.
Thanks, Bertrand. Remco, I'm interested to hear what it's like from your perspective.
Yeah, well, what will the future look like? It's hard to predict, right? Is hybrid work here to stay? Well, from time to time we conduct a future of work research, and I looked up our recent result to try and to predict the future a bit for you. So in this research, we found out that 80% of the managers said that their companies would introduce flexible work from home policies, and 70% of the employees said they plan to take advantage of them. So I think if both managers and employees say this, my guess is that it will become a reality. Now, yeah, so will that reality look like? Companies will have to facilitate for people joining meetings from their home office, and also the meetings taking place physically in the actual office. And how can this be facilitated? Also, what we'll see is that work will continue to be both synchronous and asynchronous, so people working at different times. Because what I liked most during this pandemic is that you're much more flexible in picking your own time. So doing something else during the day and then doing some focus work in the evening. And I think people will keep that habit.
Yeah, it's certainly changed, hasn't it? And it was interesting. I was on LinkedIn just today actually, and someone had done a survey, an opinion poll on LinkedIn, and 10,000 people responded. Right, so this is pretty big, and it was will you want to work from the office? Will you want to work from home, or will you want to work from both? And it was like 60 or 70% said I want to work from both. So we're talking about the hybrid working and getting back to work, but it really will be a mix of locations and styles, right? Going
We've
forward.
been forced to experience both. So the last year, we've been forced to experience a pure work from home environment for many of us, anyway. And we found that it's not ideal. It is highly efficient, and I'm completely surprised at the amount of business you can actually do with customers without even meeting them in person. And it's very efficient. However, I think we're all experiencing the downside as well, the social downside, and the interhuman contact with teams, which leaves a lot to be desired at this point.
Yeah,
I think Jasper, to add on that, I think employees will pick the location which fits their work in the best possible way. For example, connecting or doing collaborative work, you go to the office. Doing work that requires deep focus, you stay in your home office. When you combine the two, we can increase productivity, creativity, and work can become more fun too.
Yeah. And I'm convinced that the combination will be the greatest outcome. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the organizational challenges here, because we've got three very different, perspectives online today. So I'm keen to hear from each one of you, what are your customers saying? What are their top challenges right now, and how are they looking at 2021? And Bertrand, would you like to take that first?
Yeah, and I think it's twofolded. I would say a bit like internally, what challenges for the organization internally as an organization, and externally. So internally, I think that one of the key challenge is how you provide the right tools to your team. And we observe after the excitement of the initial period where you believe you have more time, you're more at home, you can pick up your choices, that can get a bit boring or annoying, or a routine, a different routine, and not everybody has a 10-room house where they can fit in a nice office with sea view. So I mean that's a challenge. So how you preserve and keep up the employees and teams engagement. That puts even more emphasis on your internal communication tools, whether that's your intranet, whether, for example, we organize Ask Me Anything sessions with the team. You can come or not, ask questions. Keep up the links and the connections between the teams and employees. With partners and customers, I would say a bit as Jasper was saying, I'm being amazed as what you can achieve without face-to-face meetings. I'm a strong believer in face-to-face meetings. You can make so many things done and achieve with a face-to-face meeting, especially when you have challenges and to resolve or changes to implement. However, I've been really impressed and surprised myself at what you can achieve with the right tools by just doing it remote. I think that business traveling is also impacted for a while. Maybe not the personal traveling, holidays, leisure, and so on, but business traveling. I'm sure if you look at your January, February travel expense as a company, wow. I don't know how budgeting was done in 2020, but suddenly you have de facto savings that maybe you can reorient to online and so on activities. But so I would say as a challenge, is the engagement, teams engagement, customer and partners engagement. That's very key. And from our service provider and partner customers, I think more demands on the BSS, on the portals for the online customer and partner journey end to end. So that's I would say the two main things I would highlight.
Thanks, Bertrand. Remco, what's it like at Microsoft right now? I mean, with the customers you're talking to and partners.
Well, we've seen a massive increase in use of Microsoft Teams, of course. But there's one thing that worries me a bit when we go back to the office for hybrid work, because the majority of today's meeting rooms is not equipped to facilitate meetings where part of the persons are present physically and a couple of them are joining from remote. And this is a challenge because people joining from remote will not have an equal seat at the table. They cannot hear what people are saying, they cannot be heard well, they cannot see the content well, and they have to contribute to the meeting as well. So this is easily fixed by the right meeting room equipment, and there are really fancy innovations coming up, like hybrid whiteboards or intelligent speakers who show people joining from remote who is speaking. Or for example, people in the room get visual cues when people want to raise their hand from remote. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff there. But the majority of rooms still has to be upgraded. So I think that the majority of people are using Microsoft Teams, for example, as a collaboration software. They still have to make sure rooms can participate in those meetings as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it? And I think it was a couple of years ago, someone came out with a crazy stat, like only 1% of meeting rooms worldwide were equipped with video, right? So if it's a good time if you're in video devices right now, I imagine. So Jasper, what's your perspective? I mean, you speak to partners and customers. What's it like from Audio's perspective?
We happen to be in video devices and also the networks that accommodate the traffic there. And indeed, this is indeed what we're seeing in the market. Everyone's preparing for this new reality. Everyone's preparing their rooms for this new way of work. And for internal communications, this is absolutely on the way. And it's a challenge for companies because it requires planning, it requires technical integration, and also from a financial side, it requires investment. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to juggle everything together, combine systems into an outstanding user experience, offer the video, offer the collaboration. And then what we're trying to do is we're trying to align with our partners, like service providers like Enreach and with Microsoft, because customers are asking for not capital investment. They're asking for a service, and their service serves their people. So we have to have a service for their people, which means we offer service-based monthly solutions that integrate all of this: network preparation, meeting rooms, voice quality and experience management as SLAs on experience, and excellent technical support. That's really what we're doing. The cultural part of this question is hugely interesting. And I have my thoughts there. I doubt I'm an expert, however. So but this is what we're doing, and this is happening today. This is what we're doing today.
Yeah, thanks for that. And my final question for today is, really about what are you doing to adapt to these new demands as vendors? So, Remco, what are Microsoft doing to kind of, accommodate these new work styles and workplaces and things like that?
Yeah, I'd like to bring the focus to the well-being part, because by now it's clear we're not running a sprint, we're running a marathon, maybe even an ultra marathon. But in order to keep running it, you need to have healthy work habits. And changing your habits, I know from experience, it's very hard. So what we're doing is we're building in all these things to help to coach people in developing healthy work habits. For example, recent one, meditation. So work goes on and on, right? So gaps between meetings are filled quickly with calls and emails, but to be productive durably, you need to step back, reflect, recharge. And that'll help you stay productive for a longer amount of time. So now you can, for example, schedule guided meditations in teams. We work together with Headspace for that. Anywhere during the day, for example, a virtual commute. So we do things like that, or other coaching. For example, I just got a message and it said that you reply to 80% of your email messages within 1 hour. So the shocking thing was, I was in a panel discussion last week, and I said I have an hour my week I schedule for answering emails. And well, that is still very much true. The habit of continuously monitoring and responding to emails, that one is hard to break. So with these little reminders, technology helps me to really change my habits.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got that. I get that kind of focus time, kind of inserted in my Outlook calendar. But every time I get to it, I never get any focus time. There's always something kind of pushing it out of the way. But I mean, we've seen it all. We've heard it all, haven't we, from our customers?
Yeah, it's one of the easiest things to let go of, your own personal time. Yeah. Fortunately, now the team collaboration app is being set to do not disturb. Messages are not delivered, so we reduce the temptation a bit, but still, it's hard.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and it's habits, isn't it? Breaking those habits, which is really tough. But the wellness piece, the well-being, and habits that we need to change, to help that I think it's really, really important. So yeah, great comment there. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Jasper, do you want to take that one next? What are audio codes doing to meet these new demands?
I'm just thinking about what Remco is saying, and I had a team member this week who had a rare first trip back to the office last week. He was telling me that he was sitting in the car listening to the radio for the trip, and that he had missed this so incredibly, this me time to sit in a car with some music on the background and think about what he was doing, because he spent the last year in back-to-back online meetings and focused work time. So yes, it does make you think. We are all incredibly effective nowadays. But we do need to keep that in mind, indeed. As far as audio codes is concerned, going back to technology, at the end of the day, we're a technology company. I think we were slightly exposed in the homeworking side in terms of the devices that we bring to markets. We were very office focused. And we've made a hard adjustment there in offering a home office technology and measuring user experience in quality all the way to the desk of someone working at home, or the couch, whatever it may be, because it's become a part of the workplace that will not go away for the foreseeable future, and we will continue to adapt there.
Thanks, Jasper. And Bertrand, have you changed your, proposition or roadmap at all at OnReach?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, it has triggered some adjustment in the roadmap, and I would say some accelerations. All the more as we are, through the multiple acquisitions, both to expand our geographic reach, but also to add new, I would say, technology and innovation. We have to integrate these bricks and components. But maybe just before the portfolio adjustment, I think what we see in the market also, what we've seen is about the importance of connectivity at home. Suddenly, is your connectivity ready for these tools? When you have your kids, your children, your wife, your husband, whatever, doing online sessions as well. So first reaction has been, okay, do I have the right connectivity? What my solution? Taking some 4G data access, having some aggregations, with, using kind of SD-WAN-like solutions to make my home connectivity, I would say, business proof, as it has become crucial, which has also created security issues and challenges. And I'm sure Jasper is fully aware with some of the AudioCode's portfolio possible contribution on that. Then more on the portfolio itself, I would say one big focus is on the user experience. Make it simple, whether it's at the product itself in the UX, but also on the end-to-end customer and partner journey. I think that's very key. We also have seen a lot of demand from the channels to be able to differentiate. So how do you combine the right level of turnkey one-stop shop, because you want to be fast, in the market, and customization power through APIs, through differentiation. So this balance, always in the roadmap, I think has been also a very big focus, and also more demand on mobile, because of course the smartphone and the mobility is a key ingredient. Not only when you are on the road, but suddenly you have a new mobile position, which is your home, as a new fixed mobile solution, if I can say. So we see more and more demand for mobile, and that has been always in our, I would say, as a focus, at Enrich, with mobile first full FMC solutions done in Netherlands, done in Nordics. So we're from the learnings of that, building a real mobile first solution as also an answer to this. So I would see these three items as a key focus or acceleration.
If I may add 2 sentences to that, there's an additional side to this, which is internal communications versus external communication. So company collaboration has a different character than communication with the customer, with the client. And we see a huge jump in simplified voice and video communications on the customer side, mostly driven by WebRTC, browser-driven communications, and incorporating that into existing service provider and enterprise infrastructures. And this is a very interesting area. We can probably spend another hour on if we wanted to. That's not for now.
Yeah, and maybe as well the interoperability. Through API, through integrations. How many initiatives and Enrich, including how to integrate with Microsoft Teams, complement it in different ways, whether it is through the customer interaction side or bringing, I would say, deeper, even traditional mobile PBX or mobile PBX on top of it. I think integration is key and is a big driver to use a best of breed ecosystem and innovate. And I see that, I would say, throughout the ecosystem that sits today in the roundtable as well.
I couldn't agree more, Bertrand. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's been super speaking to you today. Thank you so much for joining me at the SmartCom Summit.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
And that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please give us a shout out on social. It's always appreciated. And I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Thank you, bye.